I appreciate it's still very, very early in the season, but does this game on Monday have extra significance in terms of the title race?
I think every game has an influence. I think if we lose against Aston Villa, if we lose 2 points, I think it can affect. So I think every game affects. I know that this is not a two horses race, because in the championships where is a two horses race, the two big matches are much more crucial. In this case, it's not like that, because in between 6 teams you have to play 10 big matches, and it's different. But it's a match where every point we get is 1 point less than the opponent gets, so it's important. But it's the beginning of the season, too early.
How different will it seem taking on Manchester United without Sir Alex Ferguson in the other dugout?
I think for me the difference is the routine of meet a friend, of being together and relaxed before the match, have the guarantee that after the match, independent of the result, we are together again, enjoying our time and having a laugh. But with David, we don't have this kind of relation, but we have a good relation. So I think we can start this kind of very nice relation I had always with Sir Alex. No problem. During the game is a game. It's not manager against manager. It's club against club. It's 11 against 11. It's big players against big players, and we just do our job normally.
There have been reports that the club are interested in Willian. Is he emerging as an alternative to Wayne Rooney, or as an extra target, if you like?
An extra target. You know, I couldn't say much in previous press conferences. I couldn't say much. I have to answer your questions and try to be honest, but at the same time try to hide a few things. But yeah, it's true. But if you remember, I told that I'm happy with my squad, but every one of us managers, we say we are happy, but we are always unhappy. We always want something more. We always want something of more quality, and we never close the door to a possibility of adding more quality to your squad. That I told, I don't know if in the last one here or before the match against Hull. And in the last one, before Villa, I told we have plan B and we have plan C. So I was letting the door open to other possibilities.
Would Chelsea have to sell if you were to bring in more than one new signing?
The point is not to sell. The point is I want a 22-player squad. So if somebody comes, somebody leaves. Do we need to sell? No, we don't. Do we need to loan? Probably yes, because I don't like to work with big squads. I like to work with a small group of players, and I think 22 is a perfect number to answer to our needs in 4 different competitions, and at the same time to let the door open for some kids to come up and to train with us and to be selected in a few matches. So if somebody is coming, somebody will leave.
There has been speculation about the future of Juan Mata. What would you say about that in terms of his future?
No speculation. No speculation. He's a player we all like. He's a player we all want to keep, and we want more quality in the team. We don't want less quality. We want to add quality to the quality we have. So Juan is not a player we want to lose.
If Chelsea are facing Wayne Rooney on Monday night, what will your feelings and emotions be about that?
No emotions. The same emotions I always feel when I play against him. And I play against him with Real Madrid and with Chelsea and with Inter. And the emotions is you have to be worried with a good player, but no more than that.
What was the fitness of David Luiz?
He's improving. He's training, not yet with the group, but he's training hard or harder. And if he's not available for Monday, we think he can be for Bayern.
Okay, round the room, Jonathan.
How difficult do you think it will be for David Moyes to succeed Sir Alex at Manchester United?
There are things that we cannot change, and David has experience and he knows that he cannot change, which is history. The history Sir Alex did is there, and is there forever. Is that a problem to David? I don't think so, because I think David doesn't want to be compared with Sir Alex. He can't be compared in this moment, because one had an incredible history there and another one just arrived. But is that a problem for David? I don't think it is. I think he's an experienced manager. He has years and years and years of the Premier League. He works in this moment with better players than he did in the past. In this moment, he has different ambitions that he had in previous years. So I think he's in the best moment of his career. It's the best moment of his career. Maturity, experience, a big club, very good players. So I think he's in a fantastic position, and I think he's going to do very well. I hope he doesn't win everything. He leaves something for the others, but he's in fantastic conditions.
Do you think you have an edge over him? Because you talk about his experience, but you've been there, you've done it, you've won a title in the Premier League, whereas obviously he hasn't.
But it's difficult to win it with Chelsea. It's more difficult to win it with Everton. So I think he did his job very well with Everton. That's why he's at Man United. You have to measure success by the ambitions of the club where you are. So if Holloway keeps Crystal Palace in the Premier League after bring Palace to the Premier League again, I think it's huge success. But he doesn't win the Premier League. So you have to measure success in relation to the potential of the teams, and David was successful in Everton. Now he knows to be successful he has to win trophies with Man United, but as I was saying before, now he has the potential by the club, by the squad, and he is a good manager.
In relation to Wayne Rooney, can you understand that United will be reluctant to sell him to Chelsea, given the rivalry?
He's that player, they know. We told immediately David Luiz was not for sale, for example. So when you own the player, when you have a contract with the player for a long time, even if the player wishes to leave, and sometimes that happens, that contradiction happens. The player wants to leave, the club wants to keep, and it's something we have to make a decision one way or other way. We have to persuade the player to stay, or the player persuade us to sell.
So having said that, are you pessimistic, confident at this stage that he will come here?
I don't care. In this moment, I don't care. a big match to play on Monday. I don't care with new players, with market. I don't care.
How key is a striker then? Would you be disappointed if you're not getting one? Do you need one?
Not disappointed. Not disappointed. But we are going to try. We are going to try till the last day. We are going to try to, as I was saying before, to add more quality to the team, to add more options. And we are going to try.
How confident are you that Willian will choose Chelsea over Tottenham, and where does he fit into your plans?
That's a good question, because I think he already made his decision.
You think he's chosen Chelsea?
So you definitely think he's chosen Chelsea? You say?
I don't like to speak before time, because football can betray you, and sometimes this is a problem when we speak a lot about names and transfers and so on, because sometimes it looks like he is, but it isn't. But I know that I know what the player wants. So in this moment we cannot hide. That is a possibility.
Simon.
I was just going to ask the same kind of question. So, are you in talks with Willian at the moment? Chelsea and Willian? Because he passed the medical at Tottenham, it all seemed a done deal. Has Chelsea sort of started talking to Willian?
That's the danger of medicals before contracts. But at the same time, if you do the contract and the medical after, sometimes you can have a problem by signing a player with problems. So you have to do the medical before. But the best thing to do is to do the medical in secret. If the player is fine, you can sign him. If the player is not fine, you don't destroy his career by saying to the world the player has some problems, so you protect the situation. So you do it in secret, and after that, when you sign the contract with the club and with the player, you say, done. So when we do it and we make it publicly, sometimes you don't make it, sometimes are you guys that have great sources and find everything. But that's the risk.
So you expect it to be done soon, sooner rather than later?
We have to do a medical.
Let's do one more before we wrap up. Natalie.
Joseph, very quickly, how do you compare or rate this United squad and team you're going to face on Monday compared to the ones you faced in the years gone by?
Always top. Some of the best players in the world, some of the best players in this country. Always a mixture of young talent with the players that carry the flag of Man United history. It was like that in my time. In my time they had Roy Keane, Scholes. They had these players with big history there. Now they have still players from my time like Ferdinand and Vidic and Giggs, and they have this always mixed with very good young players with that winning culture that makes the history of the big clubs, and they are a big club for many years, and that is a very difficult thing to have. So they have everything.